I'm going to reveal the full creative strategy that we've been using to scale our brands to 7 figures, multiple 7 figures, and 8 figures in sales in the shortest amount of time. And this strategy has been the backbone of our entire growth framework for these brands that we manage. Now, most brands, honestly, what they do is they test 3 to 5 creatives every single month and they wonder why they don't scale. And it's quite simple. What I'm about to show you will reveal why this strategy does not work, why testing 3 to 5 creatives every single month or being lazy about creative testing does not work. So creative diversity, it's not a nice to have, it's a mathematical reality. You need to be testing as much as possible so that you increase your chances to discover what we call winners. And these winners are what set you apart from the competition and allow you to get to that level where you're spending $10,000 a day, $5,000 a day, $20,000 a day, even more, right? If your market is big enough, it allows you to spend and to reach as many people as possible. And honestly, we used this system just recently from the $100 to $300 range to over $2,000 in sales in just under 30 days. And we're going to get them very soon to 20K, 30K, 40K per day in sales very, very soon just because of this strategy. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now look, before we do anything, I'm going to share with you my creative philosophy and why I think that it's the best out there just because of how much it makes sense. Honestly, I'm going to share with you a few frameworks and you're going to see that it just makes so much sense. It's going to simplify about how you think about creative testing. Now, the first pillar of my strategy is casting a wide net of formats, angles, headlines, and concepts. So the reason behind that is because we want to increase the probability of hitting a winner as soon as possible. And by casting a wide web, you're basically maximizing your mathematical odds and making sure that you're going to be hitting a winner at some point. The second pillar, which goes hand in hand with the first one, is the meta algorithm understanding. And essentially the platform wants you to help them get users to stay longer on the platform. And the way you do that is by not being redundant. The moment you become redundant, the users don't want to be on your platform because we're all chasing dopamine. The dopamine reality is that we're in the quest for novelty. We're looking for the next new thing that's going to spike that dopamine and get us back into that little micro state of bliss that we all want on the platforms, right? So the more variety you give the algorithm, the more good content that you give it. Obviously, when you cast that wide web with good content, that's when you're rewarded by the platform. And that's when the distribution machine, which is the meta algorithm, just behaves in a way that gives you success, right? And that's what we all want. The third thing is customer psychology. You see, Meta has over 52,000 data points on every single user. Do you imagine how much data that is per user? That's insane amounts of data. So what we need to understand is that they probably know that one customer probably will convert with video, the other one will convert with a carousel, the other one wants to see an us versus them concept, another one wants to see native organic type of concept. There's a lot of people and we need to understand that reality, that with a lot of people comes a lot of different realities. And if we can cater to those different realities, that's when you start scaling your account because now you're just playing hand in hand with the algorithm and you're able to cater to the customer psychology and you're able to convert more people. Just because you have so much variety in your content, you're going to be able to maximize the amount of customers that you're able to convert. So this was the philosophy. It's very simple. It makes sense. It's very logical. But if you base your creative strategy on this, there is no way you cannot have success just because it literally gives you the direction from where you want to go. And that's what's really, really fascinating about this is that, a lot of people, they complicate things and I need to test this amount of creatives or that amount of creatives. Bro, chill. You just need to have a good, solid understanding of who your customer is, what are the different avatars, and then you need to know what type of content is most likely to resonate with every single avatar and just start catering that to them. And then if that doesn't work, you formulate another hypothesis and that's your creative strategy. It's very simple, right? So that's the philosophy. What I wanted to do here is I wanted to share with you some winning ads or winning ad formats that we've been testing in the past few months that are absolutely smashing it for us. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get straight into it. I wanted to share with you 5, I would say, core concepts that we've been testing in the past few months that are absolutely smashing it and that you can replicate inside your own business to see the success that we've seen. So essentially, the first winning ad format, and let me briefly explain what I'm going to talk about here. I'm going to talk about the format overview, the psychological trigger through which the creative bases itself, the key elements of it, the common mistakes people make, when to use that, and an example. So format overview, this shows our brand in a better light than competitors. So essentially it's us what we're doing correctly and them what they're not doing correctly. And there's a very clever way to do that so that the copy creates an imbalance inside the customer's mind where it's like it just shifts the attention to your brand because the copywriting is clever. The psychological trigger here that we want to use is the tribal identity, social proof, and differentiation. And this is very important. Differentiation is very, very important, especially in the saturated market. You don't want to be comparing yourself with other brands just based on free shipping, right? It needs to be differentiated in the copy itself. The key elements here, visual cues, specific copywriting framework that destroys competition credibility, not competition. It's the competition credibility while building ours. It needs to be based on reality. You can't just invent and just destroy people, freely, right? And it's not about destroying people, obviously. This is done ethically, but it's just a ethical comparison so that you give the customer the choice and you trust that their logical mind will kind of direct them to your brand. The common mistakes, hyping yourself too much beyond credibility. So in an effort to destroy the competition's credibility, kind of destroy yours, right? Because you're just hyping yourself and not a lot of people enjoy other people talking good about them, if that makes sense. So when to use this, you want to use this with a solution-aware avatar and the most aware avatar. Don't use that with people that just don't know they have a problem, or they know they have a problem, they just don't know that solution exists. So that's where we use it. This is a good example of an ad that probably is printing money for their team. Let's go to the old me versus new me ad format. So here you want a before and after transformation highlighted. The psychological trigger that we want to have here is an identity shift, an aspiration, and self-improvement bias. So you want to trigger something inside the customer's mind where it's like, yeah, I want that transformation, right? I want to improve myself. Whatever situation I'm in, I want to improve that. So the key elements here, you can use a timeline visualization, you can use an emotional contrast, you can use proof mechanisms, so pictures if your product actually does something on the customer's body or skin, whatever, you want to use that. Common mistakes, unrealistic transformation. So when you're going to use this concept here, it's the problem aware, solution aware, and most aware. The common mistake is having an unrealistic transformation just because these guys are aware they have a problem and they probably know a lot about that problem. So if you tell them you can solve it in one day, you're probably going to trigger their BS detector. And that's what you don't want to do. So keep it realistic. But this format is chef's kiss. All right, format number 3, that's the Reddit style creative. And a lot of people are starting to use that. We've started using it probably 60 days ago, I believe, something like that. And it's a winner, right? So the format overview, very simple. It's content that feels native and organic to social platforms. So to the eye, it does not look like an ad right away. Although, if you have a logo or if you have like a call to action, whatever, it might look like an ad. But to the eye and at first glance, you're not getting the customer to just skip, right? And that's what you want. You want design components here that make it feel user generated. So here we're targeting the authenticity bias, the curiosity bias, and the social validation. The common mistakes: the copy is too obvious and destroys the native visual because you're selling too much. For example, here we want to make it look like it's a real thread. And sometimes you want to actually use a real thread. So here what you want to use it is problem aware, solution aware, most aware. Winning ad format number 4 is the bold headline. So very, very simple. It's a bold headline. It's a headline that, just encompasses the problem and at the same time just gives them a solution. So the structure and the visual presentation techniques used in this are very, very important because it makes or breaks the ad. The psychological trigger, you want a pattern interruption. That's where the headline comes into play. Authority positioning, some kind of social proof or just some kind of, publications, whatever. The key elements, the typography choices, the color psychology, and the spatial layout are huge on this one. Okay, so the display and the information hierarchy on this specific format is super, super important. And the common mistake is just bland copy. It doesn't do anything to the emotions of the customer or the prospect. So it just scroll, like we skip it. When to use it, you can use it on the problem aware, a solution aware, and the most aware avatar. And then a good example of that one is this one here. And then the last one is the most exciting one, which I don't see a lot of people using, which is the unaware static ads. You guys know how much I talk and rave about the unaware avatar, which is the key to opening really big scale for any business. And this is format that we found to be just an amazing option for any business, honestly. The reason behind this is that you're creating a static ad that mirrors the viral feed post. So imagine this. Like this is your typical Facebook post, which is a brain rot, just a post that's geared towards, just getting a lot of shares, or if there's a link here, you can click and go into an educational page, whatever. This is the typical, I would say, behavior or the typical content that is native to the platform. That's what I'm trying to say. Psychological triggers here are the curiosity gap, the information seeking behavior from customers. And those two, they're absolutely killers just because it's so native to the platform, because people go on Meta, on Instagram, whatever, to get educated, right? They want to consume information. The average person consumes 34 gigabytes of information every single day. Can you imagine that? Every single day. So capitalizing on that reality, that's how we do it with these statics. Now, the visual cues are very important, because if they don't stop to scroll, and if the copy that doesn't create questions, you're not doing your job correctly. Okay, so here it's done really, really well. And even the picture, just it creates this, oh wow, I need to know about this, I need to read about this. Okay, and then here what's fun is that you can use this pretty much for any avatar, like from the unaware to the most aware. That's the beauty of it, is that it can literally make or break your ad account. It can totally flop, and I encourage you to test as many as possible, but it can also like literally open up your account for true scale. So yeah, this is really exciting. I don't see a lot of people, if any, testing these honestly at the moment, but I'm assuming this is going to become the norm in the next few months. A lot of people are going to start testing these. So these are the winning ad formats. So really quick before we end the video, what I wanted to do is talk about the common pitfalls. So a lot of people, when they start testing, they give up on a format too quickly because their hypothesis, again, is not strong enough. So if your hypothesis is strong, you need to be testing the format for a lot longer than what you do typically. Obviously, not spending enough to reach statistical significance. That's a big one, because a lot of people, again, they spend their first $500, doesn't work, and then they're, just reassessing their entire life, right? Like at this point, that's what I'm seeing, and it's not how you want to do things. So honestly, I'm trying to think about third one, probably for creative tracking. Like when you know a winner is a winner, not analyzing what made it a winner, and then if it's a loser, what made it a loser, right? In your own words, it's a hypothesis. Of course, we can't know for sure, but you're training your mind to know and to diagnose the losses and even diagnosing the wins. So this is the entire creative strategy. It's very simple, guys, but simple scales. And I want you to know, if you do not base your creative strategy on a philosophy, you're just going to be watching this video, going to another video, getting lost on a third video, and not knowing what to do with your creatives and not knowing how to advertise for your business. So you need a simple philosophy that guides every action that you take inside your business. And this has been working really well for us. So if you want to take advantage of it, I truly urge you to do that as soon as possible. Start today. Like, start using these concepts, start creating them for your own business, and you'll see how your account starts scaling. I'm sure that you'll see a lot of success with it. So this is the end of the video. I hope you got some value from it. Again, if you've been watching my videos, consider subscribing, consider hitting the like button, and letting me know what type of content you want to see in the future. I'm really open for suggestions. So anything you guys want to see, it's fair game. Let me know in the comments. If you're new to the channel, by the way, welcome. My name is Omar. I'm the founder at Ogrel Clams, and for the past 5 years, I've been helping brands in the e-commerce space scale from low 5 figures to 6 figures, 7 figures, multiple 7 figures, 8 figures in sales. And we're pretty good at what we do. So we help the brands that we manage implement protocols that are proprietary to us that enable them to see scale in the shortest amount of time. If you're making 30K per month or more with your business, I want to speak with you, and I want to see if there's synergy for us to work together and for us to implement these protocols and show you what true scale means in the context of your business. Otherwise, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.